Welcome to the Mindful of Madness podcast, episode 9. I'm your host, Andrew Ingram. I'm a writer and comedian, and every week I sit down with one of my creative friends to talk about their process and the things they make. And this week I'm really excited because I have two guests, Ryan Pacheco and Megan Jean, two very funny comedians who are also two of my best friends. All three of us kind of started comedy around the same time and became a little bit of a family. They are, at this point, two of my oldest and dearest friends, and I was really excited to get them on the show. And this is a really fun episode, guys, because we talk a lot about how we're very bad at the business side of art. All three of us. We're maybe some of the worst. We do run shows. We do, put out things we're really proud of. But, marketing, getting people to where they can see what we make, we all struggle a lot with it. And if you're in the same boat as I think a lot of creative people are, you might really like this episode. Now that I've said I'm bad at that, let's get into the marketing part of the intro, because I make things and you should check those things out. It's really important to me. So, take a minute and check out what I do. First off, I have a comedy album. I plug it every week. It's called This Was a Bad Idea. It's on Spotify and Apple Music and Tidal, probably. I don't really know what Tidal is, but I'm pretty sure it's there. And it's the thing I'm most proud of in my creative life. So please give that a listen, or give it 12 listens. I'll know, because I check the numbers all the time, because I'm crazy. The other thing I'd like you guys to check out, if you have the time, is mindfulofmadness.com is where I post my writing. I've got a lot of fun short stories, a lot of essays, and I really want to build my following there, because I have a book that's almost done that I've done several drafts on, and I've had people give me notes on, and it's almost to the point where I'm ready to send it out to agents and publishers, and I'm very scared about that. I'm very nervous, but the better my following with my other writing at mindfulofmadness.com, the better that following is, the more likely publishers and agents are going to take me seriously. So go click around mindfulofmadness.com, read a bunch of stuff, or just, click on a link and scroll through and make it look like you read something, because I want to look legitimate, guys. I'm being very vulnerable right here. I'm rambling, but you know what? This is the third time I've tried to start this intro, so we're just going to barrel through. And I think that's all the plugs, so let's get into Mindful of Madness, episode 9, with Megan Jean and Ryan Pacheco. Hey everybody, welcome to the Mindful of Madness podcast. You found it. It didn't switch from the intro.
Do I clap?
No. Never clap. What are you fucking new?
Yes.
How dare you? Guys, with me this week, I actually have two guests. This is the first time I've had two guests on at the same time.
Ooh.
Two of my best friends, two of my oldest friends in the arts, two of my oldest friends in life at this point, I suppose. Megan Jean Robinson. Say
hi there.
Hi.
How's it going, everybody?
Hi. It's Megan, everybody. Yay. And Ryan Pacheco.
Hello.
And they're like in love, or they can't leave each other because it's quarantine times. I don't know.
We're attached at the hip. We cannot appear as separate entities.
The surgery is scheduled to be separated, but
that's entirely based on when the coronavirus vaccine shows up.
I don't know. They're not letting us in the hospital.
As soon as that's ready, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
Hi guys, it's good to see you.
It is.
It is good for you to see us, yes.
We definitely haven't seen you guys in forever.
No, it's really weird. Not being able to see your friends ever because comedy is a weird thing because all of my friends are artists and most of them are comedians and most of them I see at least a few times a week. If you hear beads in the background clattering around, that's because Brittany's doing crafts. Say hi, Brittany.
Hi.
She picked a great time to do crafts.
We were so excited before we started this.
Yeah, I kept trying to get her to come sit with us on the podcast. She's like, no, I want to do crafts. Don't make me do work.
She's going to show up later with like a rain stick.
We just turned this into a teleplay. Yeah. Like, we're going on a bear hunt.
It was a dark and stormy night.
Well, I will tell you, I don't know why, but for some reason I put on makeup today to come over to do a podcast.
She wanted everyone to hear how pretty she is.
So, those of you that are listening, if you know my face, just imagine it, but pretty.
No one has ever put on makeup for a podcast before.
Well,
so
I'm a trendsetter, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, that's so exciting.
She had me help her shave her head for this.
I did.
Yeah, you got to go outside.
I did. I got to leave the house, which is always, nowadays it's a commodity.
It's few and far between.
And if you hear some clanking around, I'm drinking coffee, Ryan's drinking a beer, and Megan is...
I'm finally allowed to drink my tea now.
Yeah, she's sipping tea with a spoon.
So as to not make noise.
She's eating her tea like soup.
The slurping and the spoon hitting the sides totally won't make noise. But yeah, it is really good to see you guys. What have you been up to in life?
Just doing what we can, I guess. We've been cooped up like a lot of people have.
Yeah.
I don't know. We're getting out there for a couple of shows. Megan has a show coming up. I did my first outside show.
Yeah.
Like
how was that?
Weeks ago. It was good. It was interesting because you kind of have to just play to the front row.
Now, who hosted it?
Oh, that was one of Melody Clemens' shows.
Oh, yeah. Oh, were you doing the one down in Fountain?
Mm-hmm.
So this was very funny and very sweet. My mother-in-law, who Brittany and I live with her parents because we're trying to save for a house, and it turns out podcasting and doing comedy during a pandemic are not great ways to make money. So we're living with them right now, and she came downstairs and was so excited. She's like, Andrew, there's comedy at a brewery in Fountain. I'm like, yeah? She's like, yeah, you should be on it. I'm like, I agree. Yeah. I should be on it.
Call them up.
Yeah.
Because that's how you get booked on things.
Do you know who hosts it? She said, no, but we just saw comedy there because of because we were there. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, if you don't know who hosts it, I mean, I'm sure I could figure out who it is. It's probably Melody's show. And then I looked it up, and it was, it's sure Melody's show.
Yeah.
Because I've got to get Mel on and talk about running shows because she's better at it than all of us.
I mean, and I have to say, I actually agree. I actually pulled her to the side a while ago because you were booked on another one of her shows, but that one was at that bar on oh my God, it was Wasatch, right by Studio.
It doesn't matter.
But it was that day, and I talked to her because I was asking the same thing because I really do want to get back into hosting my own. And so now she actually gave me the confidence to maybe go and speak about it because we're all having it, to discuss the whole social distancing things, and the people have been just spreading out tables, and I mean, we know comedians that have done the outside shows as well, kind of like a drive-in, so it's it's going to be hard. That's what I was asking her is, how crazy is it going to be for me to go into a venue and say, can I bring 15 to 20 of my closest friends inside your venue right now. It's just
right.
But she was actually very reassuring that there's still places that are searching for stuff, and so pretty much the only thing keeping us from doing it at this point is my laziness.
Yeah. I'm not gonna start anything. I think if somebody asks me to be on a paid gig, I will do it. I'll bring my own microphone. I'll be as safe as I can. I've only done one real show. I mean, you guys were at it, but that's the only show I've done since all of this started. And I open mics are starting to pop back up, but the environment I work in is there are so many people.
Yeah.
And so assuming everybody who goes to those shows is being responsible and social distancing in their life, I don't want to be the person that brings it into the room, right?
Have it be your fault
right.
that everybody in that room dies.
Exactly.
As a comedian, you expect to kill, just
not that well.
The chances of that, though, especially if you're watching yourself, if you're. But I guess there's the whole carrier theories and
knowing me, I will 100% be a carrier.
Yeah.
Well, that's what Ryan thought, but
yeah, I have had every sickness that's been on the news. I had West Nile virus.
Yeah, when he was younger, when it was real hot.
I grew up overseas. How the fuck did you get West Nile virus?
Right?
Mosquitoes, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay.
I just remember not having. I had the flu for 3 months, and they were like, "What is going on?" So they took me to the hospital, and they were like, "Well, you've tested positive for that thing on the news."
No.
I'm like, "Great, awesome."
Yeah,
that's no good. Stay the fuck away from people, Ryan.
Thanks for having me on your show.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Right.
Yeah. Well, it's every time I do have a small interaction like this, I do the podcast, and Brittany and I play D&D with some of our friends. And
thanks for inviting me, by the way.
You were invited and showed up once. That's on you, Ryan.
No one told me it was a weekly thing.
Man, he tried to start this D&D thing years ago in the treehouse, my old apartment. Mm-hmm. And I remember he tried to convince us to keep doing it. I think even then we did it only once.
Yeah, I think we wound up playing twice.
Okay, well.
But I'm excited because I'm not going to DM anymore. I'm just going to get to be a player, and that's nice. I don't have to think of things.
I can just build a puzzle. You can just be a guy.
Right. Well, I mean, there's so many things I'm working on that, as fun as being a dungeon master can be and coming up with that stuff, it's I only have a limited amount of creative energy if I'm trying to write short stories and get a book done and stuff like that. It's just I can't do comedy right now. I'm trying to focus on things I can do. If I'm doing all of that and that stuff's difficult, then spending 3 hours making a dungeon isn't how I want to be spending my time, and so throwing something together isn't really fair to everybody who has to endure my dungeon mastering. So yeah, I'm glad I just get to show up and play now. I'm really excited. We're gonna play tomorrow. But yeah, so you've done 2 shows. You said you're doing a show this week.
Yeah. And of course for Pam, P funny is how I've always said it. Yeah. I have never said just funny. I don't know if anybody pronounces it differently.
The Sterners down in Pueblo.
Yeah. But of course it is, and we've known them for a long time as well. So it's going to be super super cool.
I always like doing the Sterner shows because I feel like it's very low pressure. Whatever the show is with them, you do what you do. And getting they let me headline 3 times before I did my album, to help me get ready. So I really appreciate that.
I do want to say I know that we can look back on it and laugh, mostly because we're all comedians, but there was this show that we did last year. We were booked on a show. Was it both of us or just me? I think it may have just been me. And it was a sexy show, one of her sexy shows.
Oh, I haven't done that one.
That was both of us. Of course, I was on the sexy show.
Right, of course, because boy, you're
I radiate sex.
Oh yeah, let me tell you, they can probably feel it through the podcast there. But really, we got there, and it was. I mean, I'm not gonna, obviously, beautiful venue. A show is a show is a show, but it was literally just a sea of old white people, and it was. I
remember that they had the show at like a national park.
Yeah,
there was literally like a lake, like right over there.
Were there kids
people,
too?
Like on boats, and
I feel like
I don't think the kids were allowed to like be at the show, but they were definitely like around.
Yeah,
they were just enjoying their vacation at the national park.
Yeah, and I don't know how much she charged for tickets. I don't remember at this point, but it just cracks me up that I guess that was the audience that
came to the sexy show.
That came to this sexy show.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go watch
old
these people.
Hey
kids.
man, the most STD transmissions in the U.S. in the past like 5 years have all been in like rest homes and stuff because
they're bored.
Well,
they're bored as hell.
They still got stuff going on. Like. Yeah, it's weird to us, but
yeah.
What's like the content cap on this podcast? Can I talk about old ladies like rubbing their pussy?
I mean, if you want.
Well, you already have, so.
Brought to you by Squarespace.
Our sponsor for this episode is Anchor, because it is the where you start until you get more listeners. You get to make an ad for the service you're on. Right. Anchor. You heard it at the beginning. They're doing good work, and tell all your friends to listen to this so I can advertise different people.
There you go.
Yeah. So what? Okay. Let me ask you this. Not doing a lot of shows, obviously. But you guys are creative in other ways. Have you been doing other things?
Oh, we've got like a whole list of ideas for things we want to do.
But it's still kind of in the list phase.
Yes, it's in the list phase because like a lot of it is like sketch comedy, and I think like they're good ideas. I'm just not sure how good it would look if I filmed it on my iPhone 6 Plus.
Yeah, well, I think you'd be surprised. I mean, you guys saw the last sketch. The one I filmed right over there. Yeah. That was filmed on my Galaxy 10. And
still double digits. I'm stuck at a 6.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys want help filming stuff, I can always come over and help on a Saturday or after 5 on a weeknight. I've got nothing going on.
Well, I will remember that.
Yeah.
Because I've got a couple of ideas. Megan's wrote down some ideas.
I'm also, I actually just spoke about it today, so I can bring it up. I'm involved with Theater to Art, the people down there, and for a while they were thinking about putting on their Puerto Rican play, as I called it, just a story about some characters in Puerto Rico, about some politics and stuff in history, and I think they may have successfully put it on and then posted it online, just like Disney Plus, everybody had been doing with movies and stuff like that. And then they took a break for a while through the summer, of course, and now they are going to go ahead and do their annual ghost story tours in Manitou. And as I was explaining to Ryan, what it sounds like is it's basically based off of real people in the past, and they're telling their stories, and you're going to go through a tour of like just a walking outside kind of thing.
Right.
And you get to hear each story. So they want us to be either acting as like one of the ghosts, or the tour guides. So like you could be, and as I was explaining like to Ryan, you could be like a character, whatever the history is. I was born in 1922.
I sat on a pufferfish. And I've been stuck here ever since.
My name is Marianne and I died from rickets in 1802, like, you know.
And now I haunt this spot because my husband was a prick.
Yeah. So it should be fun. So that's coming up I guess next month because
Halloween.
Again, October is next month, and it just blows my mind that it's just gone through so fast this year.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we were talking before the show. We were talking about how everything this year has felt like it's gone so slowly, but looking back, there's nothing to grab onto, so it's all kind of a blur. At least for me.
Yeah, I didn't know today was Saturday until about 2:30.
Okay. Yeah, you know what? That's fair. Like I said, back at work, but deep in core, I don't care what day it is. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's all just mushed together at this point.
I had a alarm set or a calendar thing set for like a week before work started, so I could, start getting mentally prepared.
Right.
But otherwise, I was kind of living like a bear in hibernation.
Lucky.
What
sounds awesome.
What were you? You could have been doing the same thing.
I'm pretty sure I was.
Yeah.
just resting between DoorDash sessions.
Right.
Where it's like, well, I can't afford to sleep forever today, so I gotta go work so that I can go back to sleeping forever.
Yeah. How do you like working for DoorDash? Because I've been thinking about it.
I like it a lot, actually. It's really easy, and you can stack up dollars pretty quickly.
And I mean, he does a really good job every day, just about $60 to $70. But I started Uber Eats, and I can wake up in the morning, whereas he can't.
Right.
So I do the breakfast rush, and I do lunch rush, and then I'll take a break, and I have my own job in the afternoon, and then sometimes I'll keep going in the evening. So I do like all of the rushes, and that'll get me at least it's upwards of $90 every time.
Yeah.
If you really just wake up and get to it, because people want things delivered. They don't really want to go out anymore right now, so it's a perfect time for it.
And it's so easy. It tells you where to go. You show up to that place, pick up a bag with the same name on it, take it to the next address, and then boom, money. $8, $10, $20.
I mean, I'm sure everybody listening knows the deal, but I thought about doing it last summer, and then this summer I was like, okay, I'm getting paid. I'm still getting paid, even though I'm not going into work. So maybe next summer, that's what I'll do, or maybe I'll do some stuff over Christmas break, because we could use the extra money. But I also kind of figured, like, if I was in a position where I'm still making money and other people are actually like losing their jobs and stuff, I probably shouldn't take up space in the gig economy right now. Like, that's not fair to people who are actually hurting for cash. So I didn't want to take up space.
Screw them.
Right. It's not like the economy is in trouble for anyone who's not a billionaire right now. Yeah, so so you're applying to do the walking tours and stuff.
Yeah. I'll just probably have like a small audition with them, and then I'll be involved with that. And so that'll be coming up here in October as well. If you guys are looking for something to do, of course, I think the tour guides especially will have masks, and I bet you anything the performers as well. So it's going to be interesting to see how they work that into the costumes.
Right.
But
a lot of evil nuns with their faces covered.
Yeah.
Just paint like teeth on the face mask. Like, I'm a scary ghost.
You know what I was thinking today? This is just a crazy thought. I mean, I don't know why we haven't done it. I know that I've seen at least maybe one ad on the internet. Why aren't we making clear masks so you can just see?
They are.
Like, that would make so much sense, because at least you can lip read, and it would be, you can understand someone muffling, being muffled a little bit better.
Yeah, so I don't think I've talked about how I work at a school on the show, because I don't want to muddy, but I work at a school, so whatever.
for witchcraft and wizardry.
Yes,
That one, right.
Not Hogwarts. It's actually like a community college.
Oh,
for advanced learning, high school continuance kind of stuff for
he
wizards.
doesn't go to
Yeah.
Hogwarts. He goes to Pig Bump University.
Pig Bump.
It's like the B rated one.
Yeah. But a lot of the teachers have those because they're most of the students who are in who are in session at the moment are the ones who have like learning plans and stuff, and so a lot of them need to be able to see the lips and it's interesting. It's a very interesting environment I'm in at the moment, and every day it makes me nervous because
I can't believe schools are open at all.
Yeah, they are.
Look, I am very grateful to be employed.
Yeah.
But it does seem crazy to me. If we kept the way we're going at the moment, I think it'd be okay. But they are talking about bringing the rest of the students in a few weeks. And it'll be like half the school comes Monday, Tuesday, half the school comes
wow, really?
Thursday, Friday, and everybody has Wednesday off so they can clean the whole school.
Oh, wow.
But, I mean, it's...
Do you have Wednesday off?
No, the teachers still... All the kids are doing online learning on the days that they're not there. And Wednesdays, everybody does online learning. So, staff comes in on Wednesdays, but, like, there's not that much to do for in my particular position. It's been a pretty light year so far, and will probably continue to be lighter. But I just praying they don't cut my position.
Maybe we'll get lucky and a bear will wander onto campus or something.
Yeah,
just be an exciting day for everybody.
Oh yeah,
including the bear.
Yeah, that's
to
actually
go to a wizard school.
Yeah, that's actually happened.
A bear?
Not at my school, but at one of the schools. A bear wandered on, and a couple guys had to go scare it off.
Wow,
that's terrifying.
Well, it was after school, so there was a football game going on, but there wasn't. There wasn't a lot of people around.
Just thank God that bear didn't have a gun.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
So Ryan, have you been drawing, doing any of that stuff throughout all this?
Just a little bit. I don't think I ever actually drew.
You're a good artist.
I doodle cartoons, and I think the cartoons look pretty good.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever considered that like a hobby.
I don't know. You're pretty good at it.
That's probably just me being humble and drunk.
You also created my posters, like most of my karaoke posters and whatever. Yeah, because that also kind of had to go on a break on that for a little while because I used to host that weekly show, and now I don't right now anymore, but.
Yeah, well,
hopefully soon.
Well, yeah, if anybody needs a poster made, I'm really good at doodling.
Yep. Well, and you made all the posters for Comedy Ray Gun when we were doing that, and those were really good.
I missed those shows.
God damn it, Megan! I told you. I told you.
She's just fidgeting with everything.
Sorry.
But I had at my last guest, the one that will most likely air right before this one. Was with Andrea, and so we talked a lot about Comedy Ray Gun and how much fun it was, but how we just couldn't make it work at the Zodiac long term.
They were all super weird shows, though.
It's because you guys
they were
wrote
really
them.
Fun. It's interesting to give yourself both a hosting position and the idea that it needs to have a beginning and a middle and an end for a comedy showcase.
We're writing basically 3-act plays with I mean, and considering there were 5, there were always 5 performers on the show, one of which being a band in the middle, which I think I recognize the Zodiac being a music venue. They wanted that, in the middle of the show, but having a musical act in the middle of a comedy show for half an hour was a little awkward. We probably just should have had, hey, music's last.
Yeah.
We're just going to rock out the rest of the night. It's going to be great. But yeah, I really love doing those shows, and I'd like to do more stuff like that. But I think for a long time after that, and after, I don't want to say the show failed, because I don't think it did.
I don't think it failed either.
We did a lot of good work, and I think we wrote some really funny stuff together for it, which was fun, because I haven't gotten to do a lot of collaborating writing before or since. But we weren't making the venue any money. With the exception of maybe 2 of those shows, which did really well. The rest of them, we either broke even or lost money, and you can't.
Yeah, as far as like venue goes, like we gotta make sure we're doing something business wise.
Right. It's not. You can't ask a venue, and I talked to Andrea about this, about how doing it every other month was a mistake. If we had done it every month, we might have been able to build a bit more of a following. But one, I think we're probably better at at producing shows now than we were then.
Right.
But also, it's just impossible to build a following when you're only doing this. Like, it's hard to mark your calendars,
right,
if you're only doing it every other month. And I think the roughest part, I remember, like, Puppet Ryan was probably the best. Ryan made a puppet of himself. If you missed the last episode, shame on you. But also, welcome. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for tuning in. I made a puppet of myself.
Basically, every comedy Ray Gun, we had 4 comics in a band, and Ryan and I, between every comic, would do a running sketch that started with some weird sci-fi or horror or fantasy bullshit.
Yeah, imagine the craziest episode of Goosebumps.
Yeah, we were psychotic.
There was one that they slowly turned into women.
We turned into women pretty fast, actually. We came out
by the end of Act 2.
Yeah.
I made Ryan look pretty.
Yeah, no, actually, I talked about that with Andrea, because looking back, maybe not I don't think this was 3 years ago, and I don't think we could do that now. Like, I think even in the past 3 years, it's become politically incorrect to do what we did.
What, cross-dress?
I think maybe...
If I'm remembering correctly, the whole point of our show was us learning that women have it harder than men. We should be giving them their due diligence.
I don't know if the writing reflected it as well as it.
I think
you meant to do that.
That was the idea we had while we were writing it.
Right.
That was definitely what we were trying to do.
And then it probably came across as more like, look, we got boobs now.
I mean, we're fucking idiots. Let's not give ourselves too much credit. But Puppet Ryan was probably the best written show we did, I think. And Ryan made a puppet version of himself.
Yep.
That has now been sadly torn up by Gravy, but we're gonna create.
I'll make a better one.
Now. Well, I mean, he was when he was a baby, so I can forgive him because he was chewing on a bunch of stuff back then. But
I would say you need to make a puppet version of me if we ever did the gag again. But a puppet version of me is much less interesting than a puppet version of Ryan.
It would be easy to make. It probably wouldn't cost $100.
You know why? Because you could just go and get a baby doll, baby boy doll.
Hey, Megan, go fuck yourself. This is my show. You will respect me.
Fuck myself, I guess.
Just cut off the mouth and put like a little sock in there so we can talk.
There we go.
Yeah.
Puppet Andrew.
Puppet Andrew would be fun. But I do think that was the best written show we did, and I think we had 3 people in the audience for.
Yeah, that
which
really
was
sucked.
Hurt.
Was that the musical one too?
Yes, we wrote.
Yeah.
You wrote a bunch of songs.
I did
because I think I had to sing one of them, and I was terrified. I hated it. But we did the most work on that one, and we had That's right. We had a roast battle at the end. And you and Puppet Ryan, and I brought Soda in as Jesus.
Right.
Soda, my first guest, first episode of the show, was actually on that show, and he was doing guitar stings for all my jokes. And then you had like a duet or a like a 2-man act.
Me and the puppet were like Abbott and Costello. We were killing it.
Yeah, no, you beat me in that battle. I'll give you that. But Puppet Ryan still had to die because he was taking your soul. This is just us. Mostly me doing the talking, but just reminiscing about things the audience didn't see.
Right,
because you weren't there, you didn't show up, and fuck you for that, audience.
I remember one thing that the audience didn't get to see. It was after the show where we dressed up like women. I passed out.
Oh yeah, I left before that happened too.
I passed out and hit my head on the floor and had like a concussion.
Yeah, that was that was our best show.
It
was.
And that's why you couldn't handle it.
Yeah, you couldn't handle the success.
It's like, this is too much. The most successful thing I've ever done, and I don't even get to do it as my own gender.
Yep.
That's why it was so successful, is because I was doing it as a woman.
Yeah, actually, I got an uncomfortable amount of compliments on how I look as a lady. I was not prepared for that, and
but there's reasons that we reminisce about these things, even if they didn't see it. We can offer stuff like that in the future. All we need to really do is find a new venue. Maybe you guys can have someone needs to referee you to when you write things.
I think, I've been doing a lot more writing in the past couple years.
You have, though. You really have.
If the audience hasn't heard me talk, I don't think I've talked about this on the show, but I write a short story every month. I put it up on my blog. I'm very close to finishing the 3rd draft of a novel, and once that's done, hopefully I can start sending it out to agents and publishers and stuff. I mean, I'm much more confident in my writing than I was when we were doing the show, but I also don't think I'd be doing any of this if we hadn't been writing narrative stuff together. Yeah. So I'm really glad we did it, and it was a lot of fun. But I think I understand structure a little better now.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that because if we were ever to do, like, if we were successful enough to have been asked to do another comedy Ray Gun, my idea was to totally just phone it in, and we're going to do a clip show.
Right.
Oh, God.
And I just go up on stage and I'm like, I remember the time that so-and-so performed. Wasn't that fun? And then just bring them on. And then it's like, yeah, I remember they told that joke about that thing.
I remember we started talking about that, and I don't think Andrea ever officially told us we weren't doing another one. I think we just all kind of collectively agreed.
You guys didn't even discuss it. You just went at night in bed.
I think we had one conversation about what the next one would be, and then we were like, I think we're all.
Well, yeah, when 3 people show up, you're kind of like, well.
I would like to do another show like that again. I mean, I think we could probably keep the name, but we definitely need. I mean, obviously, the Zodiac we talked about last week at length shut down.
Super bummer.
And it wasn't the right spot. Maybe we could go back to Muse Comics where we did our first show together.
That would be interesting.
I felt very strange about approaching them about doing another comedy show after Dave died, a local comic who we had done a show at Muse. And he was very good friends with the staff there. He did several shows there, and then he passed away. And I go to Muse at least once a month and go buy comics, and I don't know the staff there very well, but I like them, and I think I think they'd be open to another show. But I do feel kind of weird doing something.
It would be a little odd, just because like we've done one show there.
We did one show there, and then I think Dave did 3 or 4.
And I'm pretty sure Dave was the reason that we were able to do that.
Yeah, and he was the reason anybody showed up, because all of his Magic the Gathering friends showed up. And he fucking killed on that show.
He did. It was his
God,
show.
he was so funny, man.
He was.
Like, a prickly guy, but goddamn was he funny.
Prickly.
Little rough around the edges.
But really funny. But I'm all of this is down the line. I'm not starting a show until things settle down in the pandemic department.
Let's get a new president first, and then we'll start talking about.
I hope.
I've told Megan already. If we're in for another 4 years, we're out of here. We're out of here. We're done.
I don't.
We're getting off this sinking ship.
I have a passport, so don't be teasing me about that.
Yeah. Getting work visas. Actually, no one can leave the country right now.
That's true.
We're just gonna go stand up by the border and set up a tent.
Trump wins again. They may just keep the borders closed. They may just be like, "Fuck America."
So you know what? I was just hearing this story today at work because I just have the most entertaining coworkers. In my opinion, I really honestly when I get to go back up on the stage, I may have to tell some of their stories.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, definitely quote them for it, reference them,
right.
But like,
nah, fuck it, steal it.
Say it was all
happened
you.
to you.
Oh, I have honor, so it doesn't work.
No, you fucking don't. You're a comedian. You don't have any honor.
Okay, you're right. So, but she was discussing about how she's got a friend right now that is going to college here in Colorado Springs, and it is a foreign exchange student from, let's say, Switzerland, okay? And she is over here, in the States doing school. But she's only allowed to stay in the dorm rooms if she goes to a certain amount of face-to-face classes, which they are not offering right now because of COVID. So she's freaking out because they're threatening to kick her out. But then we think about how people aren't allowed to travel out of the States anyways. So what in the hell is going to happen with this poor girl? Like, just so many complicated things, It's just an oversight that definitely needs to be fixed.
From my understanding, expatriates are allowed to leave and go back to their countries, but they have to. They get screened for 2 weeks.
They would probably be like suggested to quarantine.
I think it's a mandatory quarantine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Put like a giant Q-tip in their asshole and then have it looked at.
This is very sad on our happy comedy podcast, but my parents have some friends who live in Singapore. My family lived in Singapore after I graduated high school. And they have some friends who still live there. And their daughter moved back to Canada after she graduated and wound up catching COVID and dying.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
and
shit.
Young, I think 18, 19 years old. And her parents had to get back to Canada. And This was the end of March when everything was at its most. Everybody's just trying to get their bearings, and so flights weren't happening. They were, showing up to the airport and flights would be canceled. Shit. And eventually, they got back to Canada and had to be quarantined for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So they couldn't even grieve properly because they couldn't really see anybody.
Just have a Zoom meeting about how sad everybody is.
Yeah, I mean, it's and stuff like that's, people are getting married without a crowd. in some
which
places.
Is the way it should be done.
Yeah. I mean, I liked my small little wedding. I think Brittany
So did we.
Yeah, it was quick. I think Brittany would have liked it to be a little bit more elaborate. She's giving me an evil eye.
No. She wants more puppets, more musical numbers.
Mm-hmm.
And more beads, goddammit.
Yeah, the fact that Puppet Ryan was not my best man was, yeah. Look, babe, I told you should sit in on this. If you don't want us talking about you come over here.
Come defend yourself.
Yeah, let's keep talking about comedy, though. This is real sad.
Okay.
Okay, let's talk about speculative for the future. What are kind of your goals when we get out of this? Are you making plans and goals right now? Are you thinking about what the next step's gonna be?
Yeah.
You know, what are the things you want to accomplish when we're allowed to accomplish things again?
Yeah, I have a bunch of things. I definitely I was saying this even earlier on in the year that this has just been it's been hindering to a lot of people that want to try and change their life for the better. You know, I was actually lucky because right when COVID started, I was just about to put down like $25 for a gym membership.
Those are her comedy plans, by
literally. And I know you're talking about comedy, but like, I mean, just self-bettering and all of that, you know. I mean, and
right.
I've already said about the open mic. We also, you know, we rewatched Whose Line Is It Anyway recently, which is on HBO Max as well. So, you know, we love that show, and we would definitely love to revive that, our improv show, and maybe, you know, find a new venue for that as well, because you would be involved with that too.
Yeah. Doing those was always fun. I never felt like I was any good at it, but I felt bad. I felt bad charging anybody money to come to those shows because I'm like, I have a lot of fun improvising. I am not good at it.
Right.
I mean, all right, fair, but that's the thing though, is like whenever you go back to it, because I do want to, you know, revive the open mic and maybe call it, you know, I don't want to call it like Raffle too, so I'll probably be returning it to, I'll make it LMAO is what we've been thinking about calling it. And we do want to find a piano again and really pull out all the stops, because the thing of it is we haven't been able to do any of this stuff for months, and when we have been taking these things for granted for years, that we can have this, you know, right? I mean, you know, people, I have lazy, you know, bouts of laziness where you just don't really, you want to, but you don't really do it, you know, you don't really bring yourself out. That's why I turned to Melody, because she has a lot of motivation underneath her, you know. She lights a fire under her butt and gets shit done. So I turn to her, and I think that the open mic is something I want to do full swing again. I want to be able to bring improv back, and let's do it for real. Let's actually go to some weird company to find props and like let's find hats and do that other, because we never did hats, but we love hats.
Let's save up like $1,000 and just buy like 30 hats.
Yeah, seriously.
I think you can get more hats than 30 for $1,000.
Not good hats.
Okay, yeah. You're gonna go to a real cool hat shop. So if anyone out there has suggestions to where to find cool hats, because Zizos has been closed for years.
Yeah. Well, let's actually talk about Raffle and the Underground, because Megan ran the longest running open mic, I think, in Colorado Springs history.
Thank you very much for saying that.
Was
a lot of people don't remember that at all.
Well,
there are a bunch of new people too that have no idea who I am or what that venue was all about.
Well, you guys got to come out more. That's on you.
I know. I know.
You know, I wasn't. I just assumed everybody like a year and a half or almost 2 years ago now, like a bunch of new people showed up, and new people show up every couple years and then hang for 3 months and quit.
Yeah, sometimes.
And so I just assumed everybody who was hanging out, I don't need to learn your name. And then a bunch of them stuck around, and some of them are really funny. Yeah. And that's great. It's good for the scene. And I wish I'd been slightly more welcoming, because, like, I wasn't rude to anybody.
Can you tell me? You know? Can you just give me one example of who you're thinking of? Because I know there's got to be some specific person in your head right now.
No. Because I wasn't rude to anybody, and I don't want to single anybody out as great or bad
You just said new. You didn't say great or bad.
I just mean like there's like a class slightly after hours, and they've definitely reaped the benefits of the groundwork that we did.
Oh.
And I don't think realize it.
Right. They just kind of stumbled into something that was already done.
Like, they don't need to. Everything we've accomplished in spite of ourselves.
Right.
Let's be very honest. The three of us here, more than probably anybody, anything we've done well in comedy was despite the fact that we did everything wrong.
In life.
All in life and in comedy all of the time. But we were around and we helped build the scene anyway. Mm-hmm, and there are people who helped us who aren't here anymore or who aren't doing comedy anymore. And some of them who are doing, really well or doing, about as well as we are. And the new class came in, and there were a lot of shows already around because we made those shows happen.
Yeah.
Because we were showing up, and because we had been doing comedy in a town where comedy didn't exist before us. Or not really.
Right.
I remember the time where, because right now we only have a one weekly mic right now. Do we not?
Right. Maybe two. I mean, there's Lulu's and Manitou as well.
That's the one I was thinking of.
Okay, and Charlotte's mic is starting back
up.
Oh,
is
too.
it?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So, there's stuff popping back up, but it's going to be a minute. And things may not be the same as when we had to shut everything down. And that's fine. People don't have as much disposable income as they did.
Right.
Open mics are not the best way to sell drinks. So,
yeah.
So they may be doing karaoke every fucking night for a while.
I'm down. That's fun.
And
that's great for you two.
Sounds fun.
We have a duet, Andrew, that we haven't sang. And did you know this, Brittany? We sing a duet.
Megan and I, yes. Have you seen that?
I haven't seen you guys do it, but I know about it.
Okay, well, that's definitely something that's going to be coming up soon. So watch the news.
We've even, I feel like we're better than it now.
No, we're not.
As comedians,
No, we're
I
not.
think it was really punching above our weight class. Comedically when we came up with it, but I think I'm a better comic than that bit now. I don't know. Maybe, I would definitely do it at karaoke. I don't know if I'd do it on a show again.
I see. Well,
we'll find out this upcoming karaoke.
Yeah, exactly.
Whenever that happens.
Whenever I can drag Andrew out.
Yeah. I lost my train of thought thinking about the youngsters, which but they really, a lot of those guys came out with confidence and were like starting shows and stuff. And I think it was probably a little bit easier for them to get it going. And some of them are probably naturally better at that stuff than we are.
Yeah.
Because, God, we really floundered trying to make stuff happen in this town. But also, there wasn't a pool of good comics yet. We weren't really in a place when we started to be dependable as we're gonna do a great job every time, because we hadn't been doing it for long enough. And there's an older class than ours that had been doing it for a couple years, and some of those guys are really fucking funny, and we definitely benefited from their work, and now there are people benefiting from our work. And ideally, this would be a town where the next class gets to be really successful. Mm-hmm. I don't know if we're going to get to reap those benefits, though.
Yeah.
Right.
That's okay. I like being a scene builder. I ran one of the best shows in town. In my opinion, the best show in town.
I agree. I'll stand behind that.
At the gallery below, and I don't know what the status of the gallery is now because I'm afraid to ask.
It might still be there.
They may have filled it in.
Well, it's owned by Pins and Needles Tattoos, and so I'm hoping as long as Pins and Needles is doing fine, the gallery will be back once all of this settles down. And if not, I'll start a show somewhere else.
There's always, I'm guessing especially after this whole COVID nonsense is done, there's going to be a bunch of places, clamoring for live entertainment.
I hope so.
That's what Melody said, basically.
Yeah.
Is that they needed shows. They already want stuff. They already want events for people to come back out, even if they have to be distanced or masked. They need money because there's so many venues really quickly got closed down too.
Yeah.
That was scary too because there was a couple places that we performed as well that were just going down like flies.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, Zodiac front and center was specifically the three of us.
Oh, absolutely.
Megan and I, all three of us met at the Zodiac. We and it was fucking home for years. So it was I was very sad. I got pretty drunk.
It was super bummer.
So we'll be able to find these places and speak to the venues and as long as we're being respectful and distanced and careful, I really don't see the problem as long as we don't get any cases. We really just got to be as careful as possible.
Yeah,
try to come back on it.
I don't think I'm going to start anything until there's a vaccine. I take that vaccine, I'm getting 100% back into it. But until then, I think I will participate when I'm asked, and I will be as careful as possible. But I'm not going to be. I don't think I can start a show right now.
We should I don't know why we can't just start a show somewhere and put a sign up on the front that's you might get COVID because we're not being good. Because that's the risk, but we're going to have a lot of fun.
You know what? I'll say this, and I won't. I did go to a show because I was interviewing somebody for the podcast, and the crowd at that show was fucking awful. I don't want to say what the show was, and it's not anybody's fault but the people who were being bad.
Awful,
they were being rude. They were heckling. Because the kinds of people who go to a comedy show in the middle of a pandemic and are the kinds of people who don't respect anybody.
Yeah.
I don't know that that's true across the board, and maybe that's an unfair generalization. I only have this one show to go off of. But, people were being awful in that audience and honestly thought they owned the room, dance for me, monkey. Somebody was trying to talk about their merch and they were screaming at him.
Somebody actually brought tomatoes.
I mean, just about, it was pretty bad. And it was nobody's fault but the people who were being rude. But my takeaway from that was a lot of these audiences of people who don't mind coming to a show and think it's safe and don't think any of this is a big deal are probably the kind of people who aren't very respectful of other people's boundaries or what, they're I think a lot of them are pretty self-centered. So,
and that's why we don't go to the Country Bears at Disneyland anymore.
Oh yeah.
Did you cause trouble at the Country Bears in Disneyland?
No, you weren't saying which place it was.
Oh, so yes.
My mind was going crazy trying to figure out what show this was.
I'll tell you off air, and it's a good show. That's the thing. It's a good show and a good venue. It was just that particular crowd.
Sure.
And it was, and maybe it was just that crowd, and it's not every crowd in this environment. Mm-hmm. But in that particular crowd, my takeaway from that one sample was...
You don't care about a pandemic. You don't care about other people. Right. So why would you care about the people up on the stage?
Exactly. That was, and that may be an incorrect takeaway, but that was my takeaway in the moment. Yeah. Where are we at? We're at 55. We should okay. We've been dancing around business a little bit, and I would say that we are three of the weakest comics when it comes to business acumen in our scene.
I agree.
Well, I did host the longest standing open mic.
That is true.
Literally the only reason it was canceled because the venue closed.
That is true, Megan. But I think we've learned over the years. We've learned some tricks. But what are kind of your business goals with art and making things, and do you think those goals are viable? Like, do you think, making things is a path forward, if that makes sense?
I always think making things is a path forward. It just depends on who sees your things.
Right.
I'm not much of a. I'm not very good at looking ahead, planning ahead. I'm very...
You? What?
Yeah, see, you know better than anybody. Like, if I have to plan something a month from now, I'm going to figure it out the week before.
You're going to figure it out 20 minutes before. Let's not give you too much credit, Ryan.
But I guess my only goal really is to get back out, start doing comedy, start doing jokes again, get to a point where my jokes are good enough that people invite me on their shows, and then keep doing that until the shows get bigger and bigger and have bigger and bigger crowds.
And send your name out there, take the videos. They usually say that. But yes, absolutely. I'm still within the goals that I had when I first started doing this. The stand-up comedy, the open mics, the improv, acting, karaoke, just all that I can try to do. I'll keep trying it, and I'll keep doing it. And then whether it be we move to Canada or California before it burns down.
Or sinks.
Or
shakes apart.
Yeah. Well, anyway.
All at the same time.
Yeah.
I definitely still think that it's doable but it's gonna take the motivation. It takes the hard work. It takes the focus. And I'm that's what I'm terrible about, honestly, is focusing. I will start the project and I will not finish it.
Right.
I'll say, I'm going to work out, even if I know it's not a comedy example.
Sure.
But, I say, okay, I'm going to work out every morning, and I do it for a week and I'm proud of myself. And then that next Monday comes by and I'm like, yeah, it's fine. I'll do it tomorrow. It's just so easy to just kind of lose schedules. So I asked the other day on social media, I said, what do you guys do to stay on your schedules? Really what helps you keep your morning schedule set? And a lot of people gave me some good advice. Just waking up at the same time, waking up with, as I had a couple people tell me, dab. I was like, oh, trust me, I do.
The people who say they smoke weed before they work out is always so confusing to me.
No.
How can you do anything after smoking weed?
Ooh, yoga is always fun. I have to say.
Well, you've managed, let's say, Megan, you are notorious for losing your job every 2 months.
Yeah, I am. Yep.
For the entire time I've known you.
Yeah.
Until this past year. And you've kept a job for like a year and a half now.
Yep.
Do you think that... you also may have taken a little bit of a step back from performing in that time. And that's that's okay. You're kind of getting your shit together. Do you think you're going to be able to take some of that discipline you've learned and move it into art?
Yeah, I can try. Yeah, for sure. And by no stretch do I have to say I have been absolutely responsible with my job. Ryan and I almost feel like it might be hard to get fired from this job, honestly.
Yeah.
I think she really found her place.
I really did, though. I really honestly did. It's, just opinion and statistic surveys. And I'm actually a supervisor now. I was promoted recently.
Terrifying.
It was wonderful.
That's terrifying.
I know.
She's in charge of people.
And the reason you know this is because I posted on Facebook a couple days ago.
Yeah.
And what was interesting to me is that I did not see your little name pop up with a like or a laugh or a heart or anything, but I posted that shit for you to read it.
I'm pretty sure I liked it.
You're the one that has given me shit all these years about having a new job every 2 weeks. And I was like, I bet you anything Andrew is going to shit his pants.
No, I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you.
I mean, of course, I didn't think you were going to be angry at me. Of course, I thought you'd be absolutely flabbergasted, as you are, with hearing this
flabbergasted,
statement.
But I am proud of you.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate it. No, I that's the reason why I knew. I was like, Andrew is going to flip his lid because I just haven't been in a responsible role for a long time. But that's why, I've had to, now I'm really kicking ass. I'm really, making sure I'm showing up. I'm making sure that I'm doing things that look, it makes it at least look like I'm putting effort in. But the other fun thing is, like, it's door-to-door surveys, and it's kind of a speech. It's like a line, if you will, in acting. And so and improv has helped a lot as well, because people will throw questions at you like, why are you asking this? Who are you with? Stuff like that. And oh, by the way, if anyone's listening, just say not interested.
Improv? Hold on. Improv helps you with the questions, why are you asking this and who is this for? Because, are you lying?
She'll just walk up to a door and be like, this is a bank robbery.
Yeah, no, I come up with a bunch
Tony
of
the Tiger wants to know who you get your cell phone service through.
Yeah, I ring your doorbell and I'm like, okay, so we're at a supermarket. And what we're going to do is...
just ambush improv. Just zip, zap, zopping on the spot.
And if you would like more of this, come on down to X venue. Yeah. No, but it does. It helps because it's just there's a lot of people that'll throw crazy stuff at you, and you don't really expect the answers that they say. So it helps a lot with that. And
is meeting this many people building your faith in humanity or killing it?
Oh man. I'll say building. I have met a couple of, obviously there's always cranky people. But especially behind the no soliciting signs.
Don't bother them.
Which is why I don't go up there anymore. Yeah. So, but no, I've met a couple of interesting characters. I've also got a lot of interesting answers. One of the questions is, we'll put the people in a giveaway after for participating. We ask for a phone number. A lot of people don't like to give it to us, so we walk away. That's what we do. I get to work for a company that will not bother you that much. I asked a lady the other day for a phone number, and she goes, oh, I don't have a phone.
Yeah.
What?
You know what?
In 2020, huh? You don't have a phone? Yeah, right.
From 20... end of 2011 until 2013, I didn't have a phone. And it was awesome because it was a really dark period in my life, and
because you didn't have a phone.
Yes. That flashlight really helps. That flashlight app.
Yeah.
It was a point in time where there was a lot going on, and not having a phone actually made simplified my life to a point where it's like nobody can bother me unless I need to be found, and that made things easier. So I respect anybody who doesn't have one. Now I'm as addicted to everything as everybody else is.
Sure, but
yeah. All right, this was fun, guys. It was good just to see you and talk to you and stuff. Megan, do you want a glass of wine now?
Yes.
You don't have to have it.
Also, remember, you're our ride.
I know that.
Yeah, so maybe one or it. I know it's. Look, you and me both. It's hard to stop.
I'm gonna say yes. I'm gonna say yes because my fans expect me to.
Yeah. I do like the idea that I'm going to get like 300 Megan Jean Robinson fans.
And they're going to be like, because if I would have said no, she'd be like, what is wrong with him?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
We expect you to be a train wreck, Megan. You're failing us.
Yeah.
Not this week, sorry.
300 Megan fans and like 4 puppet enthusiasts.
That's right.
Who know me by proxy.
That's right.
And also maybe 2 coworkers from Pig Bump University.
Yeah. Do you guys, I know there's not a lot going on in the world right now, but do you have projects you want people to know about?
I don't know. There's one that I'm like really excited about. I'm just kind of waiting until it's a better time to start it.
Okay, well, I mean, we can talk. Turns out nobody has a time limit on podcasts. If you want to talk about it, like we can brainstorm on the air. You know?
Yeah, I don't know. It's basically, I think I've talked to you about this idea before, where it's like it's kind of like I don't know if cooking show is the right term, but like we like invent like a mixed drink.
Mm-hmm.
And then we sip at it, start feeling kind of fun, and then we go on a ghost hunt at a real haunted location,
and it's called
Spirits. I also wanted to call it. I also thought about calling it.
I'm out. Sorry.
Yeah.
I also thought about calling it Chasing Spirits.
Yeah.
Ooh, I like that one.
I know. Brittany really likes this idea because she likes ghost hunting,
and sometimes other drinking things.
Yeah.
Well,
sometimes.
Yeah, I just think it'd be fun to get like a bunch of like fun people together, some comedians.
We definitely are going to do the first episode with Charlotte. I mean, that's being that she shows up, but you know, because
apparently she's a little flaky.
It's okay. She'll be here
I don't think
show.
you guys get to call anybody flaky.
That's true. We were only 2 minutes late today.
I know. Again, you guys are growing up. I'm so proud of you.
Only 2 minutes.
Yeah. No. There's baggage with these guys being late. I'm not gonna lie. Like I got so mad at you guys that I one time specifically I remember just like you guys were supposed to help me with something, and I wound up just yelling at you when you got there.
And we were like, well, let us know when you actually want to do this. Bye.
Yeah, no, which was fair. I wasn't being fair, but it was like the 12th time that had happened, too.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so.
No, we can show up for more of your strange videos if you would like us to.
Well, yeah, and I'm happy to help you guys out with stuff, too. I mean, At this point, with shows not happening very often and stuff, I'm looking for outlets. So, so I'll let you guys know if I have projects, and you let me know if you have some you want help with. I'm happy to help. All right. Let's see. Do I have anything I want to plug before we end? I like I said earlier in the episode, I don't think I've talked about it on the show. Check out the Mindful of Madness blog. Seems like since I cross-branded here, I really should be pushing it more, but I'm bad at this. So, go check that out. I have a bunch of short stories. They're not all funny. Some of them are really like tragic, and you know, you get to see different sides of my personality through that. So, and they're really good, guys.
Yeah.
You haven't read any of them.
No,
fine. It's fine.
I will.
You don't have to.
Andrew,
I'm gonna.
To be fair, I haven't read much at all.
Yes,
in the last couple of years.
Yeah, I'm aware, Megan.
And I need to.
Yeah.
So.
Well, they're all pretty short, so it's a good place to start.
Okay, all right. Well, that's good.
Well, do we sing the goodbye song?
No, there's no outro. I mean, if you want to create a goodbye song in the moment,
thank you for listening. You've been so kind. Thanks for taking a piece of my mind and putting it inside of your ears. We're gonna go home and sit on our rears.
Okay, thanks, guys.
I cringed.
Yeah.
He's kind of stuck to that now, Andrew. Sorry.
It's been a minute.
Yeah.
It's be amazing.
Well, I feel like it's my responsibility to tell you guys every time I see you, stop doing cocaine. I love you guys.
Don't do anything we wouldn't do, everybody.
And go out and make stuff, guys. Goodbye.
Goodbye.